我要故意拍你们。
耶！走啊，乱的。对呀。讲解咱听无。1分钟1分英文，讲你够不够？
他晚上会开灯，会比较
有啊，有的。
这样我就问你。
等下拿到好多大家拢无炸，拢无炸好爽。
All right, guys, let's get out of here. Little mic check. How are we? We loud and clear? We good?
Yeah.
Internationally, we got the beautiful island of Jamaica with us. Welcome aboard, Jamaica. We have Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles, that is Interstate 5, Interstate 10, Interstate 15. We have Denver, Colorado. Welcome aboard, Denver. That's I-25, I-70, and I-76. We have Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I-93, I-94. We have Alabama with us. That is I-65, I-10, and I-20. My name is Patrick. I was a truck driver. I know where all you guys live. Number one, please do not get up and walk around. That's because of low bridges. There are a lot of them. Number two, of course, don't smoke or vape. And number three, please don't have loud conversations. Just be polite to your neighbors. If for some reason you end up in the water, I have life jackets below deck. I will throw one to you. I need you to catch it, hold it up over your head, stand up, walk out, only a few feet. Starting out the tour, guys, directly in front of the boat, situated upon that stone wall up there, is a place called La Villita, means a small village in Spanish. All those buildings up there were built back in 1722 to house Spanish soldiers stationed at the Alamo. That makes La Villita the very first neighborhood ever constructed in our city, ever. If you go up there now, it's bars, cafes, restaurants, boutiques, little shops, but structurally pretty much just how it was some 300 years ago. We are now entering and passing through the 1941 Arneson Theater. It's got seating for 800. These bleachers are made out of grass. They are watered every morning at 7:30. The stage is on the other side. People always ask, do we use the Arneson Theater? The answer is yes. All kinds of shows take place down here at the Arneson. Many of them are free of charge. If the Arneson Theater looks at all familiar, it might be because you watched a movie called Miss Congeniality starring Sandra Bullock. One of the big scenes shot back there at the Arneson way back in the year 2000. Have a good look around, you guys. Back here the trees get really big. These are the famous, the gigantic 150 years of age.
他在讲是树。他说是树是超级大。
If you guys check to the right-hand side, there's a large statue here, directly on the right of a cowboy longhorn steer. That stands outside of the Briscoe Western Art Museum. Kind of an old Wild West museum in there. Got all kinds of artifacts from the 1800s. There's a large interactive diorama of the Battle of the Alamo in there. That's the Briscoe Museum. Used to be our public library right there at the Briscoe. Straight ahead now, guys, this little bridge. Have a good look at the President Street Bridge coming up because, well, you might never see one like it again. It's a real rarity in the world. It's what they call an ornamental iron bridge. Only 25 exist, just about half of them right here in San Antonio, Texas. Passing under the bridge. If you're seated, no need to duck. You're not going to hit your head. You're okay. Just don't stand up under it. This bridge, by the way, was shipped down to us 100 years ago from a little German town up north called Berlin, Connecticut. Coming up next now, right here down on the surface of the water, on the right-hand side. I'll point it out for you. You're going to pass by a small island. If you're seated over here, feel free to stand up and have a look at the island if you guys like, right here on the right-hand side. The first thing on this island is a small square iron structure called Father Massenet's Table. Been there for 34 years now. Passing by this island, give it a careful look. You'll see it is made entirely out of the roots of the cypress tree that grows out of it. This island is shaped like a heart. This is what we call Marriage Island. Some 200 to 300 couples get married on Marriage Island every single year. Legend has it, if you get married on Marriage Island, your marriage will not only be a happy one, it will last you for the rest of your life. 3 times. Thank you. It works. Thank you. the right hand side we got Divorce Island. Short walk they say. Here's where the water kind of widens out. Nice, easy going, peaceful, quiet kind of stretch back here. It's very shallow right here. This is called Old Mill Crossing, where Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders used to cross in the 1890s, right about here. This weekend, as you may know, this has been a very quiet weekend for the boats. Very quiet weekend indeed. Now, the busiest time of the year for the boats are the weeks between Thanksgiving and New Year's, because during that time, if you come down for a boat ride, you will see that every single tree on the tour, all of them, will be dripping with Christmas lights. They're turned on every night at 5 p.m. for 6 weeks, and lines to get on boats will stretch over a sixth of a mile in length. All right, guys, here we are. Directly on my left-hand side, directly on my left, there it is, towering 400 feet into the air. That is what we call the Tower Life Building. Anybody ever see the original Ghostbusters movie? Yeah. That's not it. That's the Octagonal building built back in 1929. That was purchased brand new for $3 million by two guys called the Smith & Youngs. They're the ones who had the gargoyles installed up there at the top of the Tower of Life. Those are 6 feet long apiece. They act as rain spouts. They said they installed those gargoyles up at the top to ward off any bad luck they might ever encounter in the world of business or real estate. Here's the thing though. The Smith & Youngs made a large error buying that building. That's because they bought it in June of 1929. A few months later, the stock market crashed. We ended up in the Great Depression. They had to sell that building off for 10 cents on the dollar at 300 grand, marked out at $3 million. So much for gargoyles. Now, look back behind us at the Tower Life. There it is back there in its entirety. For years, it actually stood as the tallest octagonal building in America. Today, that building stands ghost quiet. That thing is empty from top to bottom, has been for many years. They're finally gutting that thing out. That will now become residential in the next 11 to 12 months. Straight ahead of here, guys, up there across the street, 12 o'clock. In front of us, that is a massive red sandstone building. People always think it's a church because it looks like there's a steeple. That is not a church. And I can assure you, you don't want to confess any sins in there. That is the Bexar County Courthouse. Been in operation since 1897. And on my right-hand side here, this green building, that's the International Center. That contains some of the trade offices for the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. I'm sure they've had a very interesting year so far. I'm going to honk the horn. Don't be alarmed. Just telling traffic we're coming on out. The lights beneath us right now. They can raise that up. That protects downtown back there from floods. And number 2, we're now making a right-hand turn onto an artificial flood channel. During times of heavy rain or flooding, that door back there pops up, traps all the water right here, and it flows that way behind us 250 miles all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. Like I said, this is the artificial flood channel. This is put here because of the great rainstorm of 1921. In September of 21, a single storm nailed us with 17 inches of rain. That put downtown up there under 9 feet of water, swept away 50 people in a day and a half, and that's why we have our flood channel. It has now been fully operational for over 80 years. I've got no one really close behind me, which is good, because I'm going to give you guys some bonus coverage here. Look back behind me on top of that bridge up there. There's a chain link fence, attached to which are tens of thousands of padlocks. We call that bridge Lovelock Bridge, and here's what you do. You and your soulmate go up there, bring with you a padlock with their names on it, attach it to the fence, throw the key off the bridge, they say when the key hits the water, your love is locked into place for eternity. That is Lovelock Bridge. If you're having any doubts, use a combination lock. Yeah. On the right-hand side, we got the Dream Plaza Hotel. It goes back to 1929. That used to be the old Alamo National Bank. Okay, a little more bonus coverage here. This time, turn to the left, about a block and a half away. Almost a bit behind the boat, through the trees. I'm going to point it out for you. You'll see 2 twin stone towers. Can you make those out? Those belong to the San Fernando Cathedral. That cathedral is, to this day, the longest operating Catholic church of any kind in the state of Texas. They have been serving Sunday Mass in there since the 1730s. If you get a chance, 7 nights a week, 9 p.m., there is a light show projected out to the face of that cathedral, about 25 minutes long, free of charge, all about the history of our city. Go check it out. Also, San Fernando, many people do not know, inside the entrance of that cathedral, to this day lie the ashes of none other than Davy Crockett
我们
himself.
下次再自己来吧。
All right, friends, now straight ahead of us at 12 o'clock, there it is, the godfather of all cypress trees here in the downtown area. That is called the Milam tree, M-I-L-A-M, named after Texas patriot Ben Milam, who was shot and killed by a Mexican sniper perched up in the very tree back in 1835, a bit before the Battle of the Alamo. Today, this whole tree, 90 feet tall, about 500 years old. And that now takes us to the other floodgate that protects downtown, right in front of us. This one here comes down. It drops like a guillotine. You can see it up there. That is a 5,000-pound door. They can send it down so fast it would just about chop the boat in 2 pieces. And I need to get through here because they are testing it here in 10 seconds. Just kidding, we're okay. I'm not supposed to tell that joke anymore. The door actually takes about 15 minutes to lower top to bottom. Last time it was used about 2 years ago. So we are back on the natural part now. Up ahead of us on the right-hand side, one of my personal favorites, I'll point it out for you, a little 2-story stone building called the Esquire Tavern. You see the sign, the staircase, the balcony up there, that's the Esquire. This is the oldest bar, not only anywhere in the city, this is no doubt one of the oldest bars in all of Texas. No one even knows how far back it goes because it predates records. What we do know about the Esquire, inside there, nothing has been changed out in over a century. Also inside the Esquire, to this day, up on floor 2 lies the longest wooden bar in the state at 108 feet long. That, by the way, is longer than a bowling lane. If you're from Wisconsin, you know just how long a bowling lane is. Going to pass by a few stationary boats up ahead of us. This is one of our 3 boat docks we're going to pass by. We have 3 different ticketing locations, same tour. Now this boat dock here is situated outside of the Aztec Theater on the right-hand side. It's about this large semicircular overhang on the right. You'll see the Aztec. We'll get a side view of it. This Aztec Theater goes back to 1926 as an old silent movie house. Used to show all the great films starring people like Charlie Chaplin. There's a great little story about Charlie Chaplin and the Aztec Theater. True story, and it goes like this. One day back in the mid-1930s, Charlie Chaplin himself caught a bus to San Antonio. He got off the bus, on his own, walked into the Aztec Theater, where they just so happened to be holding a Charlie Chaplin look-alike competition. On a whim, just for the fun of it, he got permission and entered himself into the competition and proceeded to take 3rd place. True story about Chaplin and the Aztec. Again, on the right-hand side here, guys, up there across the street, a massive cream-colored building called the Mocara Hotel. The building itself goes back to 1901. Operated for decades as the largest producer of saddles on the planet, called the L. Frank Saddle Company. That said, my friends, here we are. We have arrived, and now passing underneath the most recognizable, some say the most photographed bridge in the city. Here it is overhead. We call this bridge Salinas Bridge. If you're not from the area, might not know what I'm talking about, but that bridge back there was featured in the 1997 hit film called Salinas, starring Jennifer Lopez, the first big Hollywood break of her career. It's a big deal here in San Antonio, that old bridge back there. Lots of locals take the tour just to hear the boat captains point it out. On the left side now, our next landmark, this is La Mansión Hotel. Prior to being a hotel, this building goes back to 1853 as an all-boys boarding school called St. Mary's College. It's now been a hotel since the 1960s. If you ever find yourself as a guest in there, you're likely going to be staying inside of an old 19th century boys' dorm or a classroom. That's La Mansión for you. By the way, La Mansión Hotel is one of only 4 hotels on the Riverwalk with riverside balconies. That's it, just 4. Overhead, Navarro Street Bridge. So here we go. Once we get out from underneath this bridge on the other side, if you look directly, and I mean immediately on my left, and way to the sky as high as you can pop, like a single freestanding wall, way up there. All the way up. All the way up. What it actually is, of course, is a massive triangular building, takes up half the city block. Yes, that is big for San Antonio. That used to be the Knicks Hospital, built in 1930. Been shut down about 6 years, but that was, of all things, the world's very first air-conditioned hospital. Here in town, we still have to this day the world's very first air-conditioned office building. By the way, if anybody here knows who Carol Burnett is, she was born right there at the Knicks. Yeah, I'm a fan too. Yeah. Now we took some research. Alright folks, we got one more bridge coming up here. With this next bridge, look up over the top of it, straight ahead of us. All those rectangular windows up there, that is a Hyatt Regency Hotel, which is famous around here for its height. Not because it's tall, but because it's rather short. And here's why. The city of San Antonio, believe it or not, actually prohibits any and all buildings from casting a shadow upon the Alamo in the setting sun. Absolutely true fact. That's why this Hyatt here is limited to 16 stories per city ordinance. That's because the Alamo is on the other side of it, up the block, directly to its east. Now, speaking of the Alamo is not the number one. The Alamo is the number 2 most visited tourist attraction in all of Texas. Anybody think they know what number 1 might be? All of Texas. It's tricky. Somebody last night guessed the Empire State Building. Number 1 is the San Antonio Riverwalk. Number 1. Yeah, makes sense, I know. Number 2 is the Alamo. Number 3 is also in San Antonio. We have all the top 3 in the state. And you would never guess what it is. You're riding on it. It's these boats. We are the number 3 most visited tourist attraction in the state. We sell more tickets than the Dallas Cowboys and Houston Texans combined every year. Hey guys. If you guys turn to the right, there's a small red building here called the Casino Club. That's not a casino, never was a casino. Casino just means a gathering of people. This was built here by Germans 100 years ago as a social club. It's now a steakhouse with apartments on top. If you want to live in those apartments up there, you got to jump onto a 10 to 15 year-long wait list. That is prime real estate. Hey, we got our first mariachi band. Let's go check them out for a second. This here, guys, is called Restaurant Row. It starts right here. By the way, the number 1 most visited tourist attraction in all of North America, a little place called Central Park, New York. Number 2, Niagara Falls. Number 3, I have no idea. Like I said, guys, this is called Restaurant Row. Got homemade guac, you got mariachi, tacos, barbecue, it's all here for you. On the right-hand side here, guys, starting here beneath the hanging amber lights, going clear across all the way to the next bridge up there with the horizontal green stripe. This is the final landmark of Restaurant Row, the biggest one of them all. This is Casa Rio. This is the very first restaurant ever opened its doors on the Riverwalk. They've been open since 1946. The Riverwalk itself opened up in 1941. If I can for a second here, draw your attention directly to my left. I mean directly to my left. Up over the wall, through these cypress trees, a bright red sculpture up there called the Torch of Friendship. That is 65 feet tall, 90,000 pounds. Been there for 23 years. Symbolizes the friendly relations between the U.S. and Mexico. The Torch of Friendship. Let's try to keep that going.
类似吧？对，是 Metro 里面的。
People often ask me how far back these boat tours go. The answer is 1947. That's seeing left at the bridge. Gonna jump onto another artificial extension. I'll take you all the way down this one and all the way back. The water here now gets deeper. You're going from 3.5 feet deep all the way up now to a staggering 4.5 feet deep. Got a hard concrete bottom, runs the entire length. We do have wildlife in this river, by the way. This is a natural river called the San Antonio River. We have turtles in here. We have something in the water called apple snails. Imagine a snail the size of a Granny Smith apple. Get a pretty accurate picture in your mind. If you see something stuck to the banks of the river that looks like discarded pink balls, those are apple snail eggs.
真的水。
刚刚说的。
We got sunfish, crawfish, catfish, perch, bass. And we also have, as some of you may have noticed, others perhaps not, we got a bunch of water snakes in the river, and they are right here downtown among us. Just to warn you, there are two kinds you may encounter. The first kind is a non-venomous species of the diamondback. 3 feet long, round pattern back, light colored belly, they're harmless. The other kind of snake, though, is the reason you don't. Well, San Antonio. The other kind of snake, though, is the reason you don't go in the water. Other than the mandatory $500 fine you'll get from Park Police if you do. That is the notorious, the venomous, and the deadly water moccasin, also known as a cottonmouth. They can be almost 5 feet. They're darker in color. We call those snakes two-steppers because if they bite you, they say, that's how far you're going to get. Stay out of the river. We have, on average, one person who falls in down here every 22 hours. All of them never to be seen again. No, they're okay. If you fall in, there's a 65% survivor rate. Should be just fine. Makes sense if you think about it. People falling in, lots of margaritas, and a suspicious absence of guardrails. People hit the drink. Don't be surprised if you see it. Alright folks, let's get lined up now with everyone's favorite small landmark. There she is straight ahead of us. She's also our newest landmark, been here about 5 years now. That is called the Stargazer statue. She is carved out of volcanic rock from Mexico. In her right hand she holds a pure white marble star. What they say she's doing, she's staring into that device to contemplate when the Dallas Cowboys will finally win a championship.
他为什么要做这样？
Alright, we got a fork in the river. Let's take a right-hand turn. Before I head in, if I can draw your attention up ahead of us, and I mean way, bar restaurant, yes it does rotate as well. That is taller than the Seattle Space Needle. That is called the Tower of the Americas. That stood as a centerpiece of the 1968 World's Fair held right here in town. There are two ways to the top of that structure. Number one, a 55-second elevator ride. Or number two, you can actually climb by foot all 952 stairs inside. We sometimes have races to the top of that tower. The all-time record set back in 1981 by a 16-year-old local high school sophomore, never beaten again, 5 minutes and 18 seconds. If you run the numbers on that, that is almost 150 feet of upward progress a minute. Beat that. That record now stands for 44 years and counting. Every 2 years, by the way, yes, every other year, so the city comes in and cleans out the bottom of this river downtown, where they discover and drag out of here, remove no fewer than 500 lost, what do you suppose? Yeah, cell phones. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, a lady raised her hand to answer that question. She was about 200 years old. Her guess was 500 dead bodies. Not quite sure where she was from. Straight ahead of us is a massive glass sky bridge that marks the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, named after Henry B. Gonzalez himself, the very first Mexican-American to ever be elected as U.S. representative. He lived here in town, won that seat back in race in 1960, Henry B. Gonzalez. Now, I have a lot of out-of-towners on the boat. I'm going to give you guys a little insider tip on the Tower of the Americas. If you go there, there's one thing to do, that's take the ride to the top. Here's the thing. When you arrive there, the first thing you are going to see is a sign that says you got to pay almost $20 per person for the elevator ride. Turns out that's not how it works. Here's how you handle the tower. When you get there, do not stand in line outside for an elevator ticket. Instead, walk right in. It's perfectly fine to do that. Find a person with a name badge a bit like mine, ask him or her to ever so kindly take you not to the observation deck, but instead to the bar restaurant. That ride is free of charge, 7 days a week, open to close. Got family of 5, save yourselves about $100. By the way, that is, instead of going to the observation deck, going to the bar restaurant, visually, panoramically, same experience.
哦，意思是说你不用付20块，
你去餐厅都一样地方。
一样。
All right, this is our convention center. It is one of the largest, they say most state-of-the-art convention centers in all of North America, Henry B. Gonzalez.
要20块，但是如果你去他的宣传，
As we exit here, folks, if I can turn your attention to the right-hand side, we're going to pass by the Lila Cockrell Theater here, named for our first female mayor of our city, Lila Cockrell. Check out on top of the theater. There's a massive 122-foot-long arching mosaic that is called the Confluence, which means coming together of civilizations. That thing took years to build. It is constructed out of over 400,000 individual naturally colored pebbles imported from Mexico. The Confluence of Civilizations mosaic right there on top of the Lila Cockrell Theater. While I got you guys back here, a few things about the boats. I get lots of questions about these boats, and here are all the answers. We have 43 boats in our fleet, captained these days by 65 different boat captains. Each boat, you'll notice, is whispered quiet. That's because we run on electricity or charging every night downtown. Each boat is 7,000 pounds per day when empty. Powered by 4 large batteries gives us 10 hours of drive time. Our boats are propelled and steered by one single small propeller beneath the boat captain. Every boat captain you see is fully trained and 100% unlicensed and uncertified. You're in good hands because we have name badges and hats. Last thing about the boats, check out the side panels. We have 5 different side panel designs, 1 design per boat, each with their own little story to tell about our city. Our boat, as well as the blue boat, is the same design. It's the Military City USA boat. What's going on, guys? There's Captain Marcus right there. What's going on, Marcus? He's doing the Spanish tours. Military City USA is the nickname of our city. We have 4 active bases right here in town, including the famous Lackland Air Force Base. Again, on the right-hand side here, guys, across the river, situated there among 4 palm trees by the stone wall, is a statue. That statue is of none other than San Antonio himself. He's holding Christ's child. San Antonio, that is Saint Anthony in English. He's the patron saint of the country of Portugal. He's also now known as the patron saint of lost objects. If you ask a devout Catholic like my old Irish grandmother, she will tell you, if you ever lose something very important to you, you were to pray to St. Anthony or San Antonio, he gets it back for you. That's who he is. That's called our Tricentennial boat. We have that boat because back in 2018, San Antonio turned 300 years old. By some measures, our city is one of the top 5 oldest surviving cities in America. Number 1, St. Augustine, Florida. Alright folks, once again on the right, poking up over the treetops, you'll see a church steeple up there. That belongs to St. Joseph's Catholic Church. That was built here by, here we go with the Germans again, this time way back in the 1860s. Not many people associate this city with much of a German heritage. Turns out we have a very long, very rich German history here. If you're skeptical of that, open a map to San Antonio, I'll tell you what you'll find. Our city is surrounded on all sides, multiple layers deep by old German towns. Places like Selma, Fredericksburg, Burney, Kerrville, Lufkin, Elmendorf, Schurz, Lockhart, New Braunfels, just to name a few. In fact, inside New Braunfels is a massive, world-famous water park called Schlitterbahn. You don't get any more German than that. I mean, slippery road in German. Yeah, you've been there. I mention all this because right here, this is, as you know, an artificial extension. This little piece of river wasn't always here, not in the 1960s. What used to stand right here for generations was an old German neighborhood. But to build this thing, the city came in. They knocked down all their buildings, and they kicked out. They expelled all 1,600 residents. The only thing left standing is that church back there called St. Joseph's, where the choir still sings in German on Sundays. That's the story. So stretch back here, and I'm the only boat captain who will share that with you. At this point, my friends, I am sorry to inform you there's only one left-hand turn remaining on the tour. We're about to take it, which means we are coming upon the end of the line, and I'm gonna have to drop you off. It's not you, it's me. I want to thank you all for coming on out. I hope you guys enjoyed your time, learned a few things along the way. Do me a favor, please stay seated until I jump out of the boat. Get us safely and securely tied down. If I can have your attention back by me for just a second back here, tipping your boat captains out here is accepted, allowed, greatly appreciated. Only for a job well done, though. Just helps us make a living out here. I hope you guys liked my tour. My name is Patrick. If you did not like my tour, my name is Kevin. Let's get docked on the right. I'll jump out and tie us off. One last piece of coverage for you. Coming up on the left-hand side, across from where I picked you guys up, is a massive hotel. It looks like a simple, plain, white, ordinary, rather unremarkable hotel. It's called the Hilton Palacio del Rio, and it is no ordinary hotel. Because back in 1968, this Hilton found its way to the Guinness Book of World Records for being the fastest hotel of its size ever constructed on Earth. This is a 500-room hotel built in 7 months. And that said, my friends, we are here. Let's get docked on the right-hand side. You can just stay seated for a second. I'll jump out and tie us off. Thank you all for coming on out. It was my pleasure having you guys aboard and showing you around. Get out there, enjoy the rest of your weekends, and please be kind to everyone you meet.